why don't I start? So my name is Amy Gary. I've met many of you and some who I have not met yet. I run our IT division here at NBM, we are excited to have you all on today. This is great. We're going to start kicking off a webinar series and doing different topics, every couple of months. So this is our first one, and we're excited about it to introduce you to Zultys. Zultys is a company we work with on telephony services. So they do all sorts of phone systems, and Len can get into the specifics of that. But they're a great partner to us, and they we've had some really great successful systems installed with them. Customers love them. Their support's excellent. And so we don't hesitate to recommend them. And so we wanted to take this opportunity to introduce you all to them, introduce you to their products, and, just tell you more about phones. I think, many know that we do phone systems. We're a one-stop shop for all things like technology. But I know a lot of people don't know we do it too. So it's a nice opportunity to remind you that we do anything related to office technology, including unified communications. So with that, I'm going to pass it off to Len Bachman, and Len Bachman is with Zultys. He's our NBM partner who we deal with for NBM customers. And so with that, Len, I'll let you take it away. We can kind of go over all these things and run with it.
Awesome. Thanks, Amy. And thank everybody for your time. My name is Len Bachman. I'm the Northeast Regional Sales Manager here at Zultys. We are a unified communications company that's been in the business for over 20 years. We got a kind of a large turnout today, so we thank you, and we know your time is valuable. We're super excited to talk to you about, unified communications, which is the new kind of term for telephony or telephones. And we probably have a mix of folks on this call, maybe some that have already invested in some new technology, maybe others who have legacy equipment out there that are looking to move to newer technology. So really the basis of this presentation is to really familiarize yourself with the unified communication platform, which really has proven to, not only increase your employees' productivity, right, with communication, but also to really enhance your customers' experience, right, within your organization. You'll see as many people kind of evolve into this new technology, there's many other ways of communicating with your customers, and we'll touch on a lot of that today. I am based in northern New Jersey. I've been with Zultys for over 10 years now. I've managed the Northeast in a couple of telephony roles over my career in this space of about 25 years. So just a couple of housekeeping. Everyone is muted right now. You're more than welcome to send chat questions throughout the presentation. I will try to hold this to about 11:45, and then we can open it up as well for questions. I'm going to give a very high overview of some mobility applications, the ability to work from home, and some of the other communication tools we have that you might want to implement into your business. So more often than not, once we finish up these group type webinars, there might be a secondary call that we certainly can have with NBM and yourself to really focus more on your particular needs. But again, we'll be happy to answer whatever questions you have. Try to keep it informal, and if it makes sense to address them during the presentation, we sure will. Otherwise, we'll definitely have some time at the end to address all questions. For those of you who are on for the full webinar, you'll get a nice little gift card from us for your time today. And again, we do appreciate your time. So let me go here and share my screen. I'm also going to shut off my video. And we'll get back to you guys later here. So just to confirm, I assume you're seeing my sales deck. Amy, can you just confirm that on your end? You're on mute.
I can see it, Len.
All right, great. So again, welcome. We do appreciate your time here. Zultys is a trusted partner with NBM, who, it's it's great. Their logo is your trusted technology company. So again, we want to educate you today on kind of what's new in telephony, right? So unified communications, a big buzzword, way back when in the early days, there was unified messaging, right? Where you could take voice and email and fax and kind of bring it into one platform. And that since has evolved into what we call unified communication, or UCaaS, unified communications as a service. Part of that is the ability to bring email, SMS, voicemail transcription, chat, collaboration, file share, and things like that into one single platform. You'll hear me talk a lot today about, one pane of glass or one application per se. There's probably many people on this call that may have a chat service. They may have a webinar service. They may have a reporting service for analytics. They may have call center. And then you have your telephony platform. So in the Zultys platform, we're able to combine all that into a single platform to allow you really to address all those communications concerns internally, which we'll talk to you again about your employees, and then externally, to your customer experience. The collaboration is big, multi-party video, sharing files, scheduling calls internally or externally. And then you have, the integrated conference calling, which is really, it could be the old school audio conferencing if you're doing audio bridges that way, or, combining that with video, file, and screen share. Some of our value props I'll kind of go through first. Again, Zultys has been around since 2000. We are US based. We're based in Sunnyvale, California. We distribute our product here in the US. We also have presence in the UK and Australia, but the majority of our revenue is here in the US. We sell through authorized channel partners and an awesome agent program to provide this product, in all 50 states. The product has been developed for over 20 years. So, it really is easy to use because it is a fully baked in product. It's not a new technology that we have in the cloud. The quick history is we created, a telephony platform back in 2000, and that we've expanded and we've enhanced, soon to be on our 18th iteration of software. So it's really a very proven product. It's very robust. We'll talk about those points here in a minute. And then, easy to use, easy to learn, easy to administer for those of you that may want that capability, moving forward for simple adds, moves, changes, creating new users, reassigning voicemails, and etc. Security is probably, other than development for us, is our number one concern. So we have spent, millions of dollars in compliances in our data center infrastructure. So we are HIPAA compliant if there's any medical groups here. It took us a couple of years to actually become compliant with HIPAA. If you're not a medical firm, we can still institute a lot of those HIPAA compliant type of functions in a non-HIPAA compliant service. So you can still take advantage of some of those, security and encryption policies that we have within the platform. So it is a totally encrypted platform. Our admin tool, meaning when you access that, is also encrypted. And that allows us to become HIPAA compliant, whether it's voicemails or fax or anything else like that. So on our data center as well, we have redundancy. And I'll talk about more of that as we get through the presentation. Our main data center here in the US is relatively close. It's right outside the Boston corridor there in Somerville, outside the 128, for those of you who are on this call. We use a global data center partner that is very well known, probably top 2 tier. We have multiple tier 1 carriers in there, which, what does that mean for you? That just means if you have if there's a failure with one of our partners, we can easily pivot. You'll see on one of these slides that we have not had a full service outage of this platform in 8 years in the cloud. Again, that's because of our proven technology and our infrastructure within the product and also within our data center. We say we have a robust platform, and we'll talk more about that. So, there's some licensing we're going to review here today based on your experience, right, and your employees' experience in the phone system. We talk about mobility and the ability to support remote workers today. Our tagline for over a decade has been to work anywhere and work everywhere. Because of COVID, we're all doing that a lot more today, but we've had a robust mobile application for, I'm going to be here 10 years and it preceded me. The CX, as we call it, that's your customer experience, your customer's experience into your organization. So again, there's the ability for you to chat with them, share files with them. There's the ability for you to do video calls with them, whether it's ad hoc or scheduled. So if you're in an organization that needs to review paperwork, that needs to review proposals, RFPs, any type of legal documents, it's a really awesome tool that you, just with the click of the mouse through our secure desktop, you're able to do that without having to run around and schedule calls and create conference bridges. It's really the ability to be able to communicate with external users like we do internally. Analytics are also very important within the phone system. I'm sure many of you here have all kinds of business intelligence and analytics that you utilize on other platforms within your business. Well, we can also do that to provide service levels within your organization as it relates to the phone system. And then if there are any contact center, call center folks on here with automatic call distribution or contact center, we're really moving toward that omni-channel call center. What does that mean? That means we can manage voice. Your agents can take chats. You can take chats through your website. And then there's SMS communication to and from. And again, we'll detail that all in that single pane of glass. We have a licensing structure that you would choose based on your user experience. These are flexible licenses that can be throttled up and down or changed on a monthly basis. Our standard user basically is for someone in your organization that just really wants to use a hard phone on their desk. For some of the legacy people that are on this call that still use, legacy phones, we can still support that. Right? If you want to have a phone on your desk to transfer calls, check your voicemail, see who's on the phone, that is still supported. A benefit to the Zultys platform is we do include our mobile application. I'll give you a demo of that here shortly. The premium user basically incorporates the desktop application. The desktop application is what we call ZAC. ZAC is our Zultys Advanced Communicator. That allows you to manage calls, chat with employees, schedule those collaboration calls, team calls on the in or outside, via group. And I'll give you an overview of that as well. Easy for a premium user to go home, use our web client and work from home without a phone, right? With a soft phone. So, the days of traveling back and forth at home with a hard phone, you can still do that and plug it into your home network, but it's really not a necessity with the soft phone clients. One big thing to remember here is we are software agnostic. So our desktop user will run on a PC. It will run on a Mac for those of you who have Mac as a platform. We're one of the few companies that support that. And we also have a web client if you're in an organization that prefers to use what we call WebRTC, versus downloading a client onto your computer or network. And then we have a contact center client. I would imagine there's a small amount of contact center folks on this call, but a contact center basically is where you have a call center managing, common calls, whether it's collections or customer service or sales or dispatch, things like that. And there's a supervisor agent relationship there where you have a supervisor that may want to see historical reporting or real-time call stats at their desktop level to see, who's taken how many calls, how many abandoned calls, and things like that. Flexibility is key for Zultys. As I mentioned, we are software agnostic, and we can deploy on any operating system on your mobile devices or desktop, and now WebRTC, which is now web client, which works really well. I mean, if you're an iOS user and you have an iPad, you can load our mobile application on there, and you'll see that in a few minutes, fully functional. I mean, we have different generations throughout the businesses today, right? So we all want to process calls differently, and many of our users decide to, adopt the mobile application and use that as their phone all day long. I'm I'm 55 years old. I like to use all the type of technology. I just can't, I don't want to use my mobile app all day. I still kind of like to use soft phone. But again, it's flexible in its choice. And we're able to license that based on each individual user, under your roof. We talk about our reliability real quick because that's key in our industry. You're going to be investing in a product that's, off-prem. It's going to be in the cloud. I'm sure many of you have moved to the cloud with, other platforms within your organization. So, again, we haven't had a full service outage in 8 years. The entire calendar year last year nationally, we had less than 4 minutes of downtime, and it was very sporadic. That's because we've invested significantly in our back end, in our infrastructure, in multiple partners to keep, our systems up. We have a secure instance as well. So everyone that goes into our cloud gets a secure phone system. We don't share resources like many of our competitors. So we fire up an instance in the data center. We dedicate bandwidth to your company, so there's no shared resources there. We replicate your instance every evening. That's then downloaded to, backup data centers. And then we do support these 6 tier 1 carriers. So, for those of you on the call that might be familiar with Level 3, who's a tier 1 carrier in the Northeast, and if some of you on this call have had VoIP services in the past that have gone down because of Level 3, which happens, we can see that, we pivot, and we fire you up on a new tier 1 carrier. We have up to 6 or 7 at any given time, which keeps our service up and running. If you happen to lose power, if you happen to lose internet to the cloud, you're able to log on to the mobile device and you're fully functional. And we'll talk more about that when I can show you the product here. Before I go into the actual product platform, I just kind of want to review our endpoints for those of you that are still interested in, endpoints at the desktop level. And we still do sell a lot of phones with the premium users. A lot of folks, especially in the call center world, do tend to move toward more of a soft phone with like a USB or Bluetooth headset. We have 2 family of phones. We have a Zip 2 or Z2 series, and we have a Zip 4 series. The Zip 2s are really designed price versus performance. All of our phones, with the exception of the 21i, are gig phones. The 21i is a great little phone if you're a medical practice and have to hang a phone, in a patient room, or if you're a school and you have classrooms, or if you're a warehouse and you have, warehouse rooms where you're not looping in a computer to the phone, because all of these phones have a 2-port switch in the back where you're able to plug your computer into the phone if you don't have the cable infrastructure to support 2 devices at the desktop. What's nice about the Zip 22 and 23 is they are color. They hang really nice on the wall if you have wall mount type of applications. The Zip 23 is probably our best price performance phone and offers 14 programmable buttons for those of you that want to see who's on the phone or want to see what lines folks are on, etc. All phones are readily available. We here at Zultys are not experience any shortages with the supply chain issues. We've been staying very ahead of the curve there, which is, thankfully great for us, knock on wood. The second line of phones are our Zip 4s. We have a 45G, which is probably our most popular phone. It's a good mid-range, not a color display, has 21 programmable buttons, supports optional Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. Like I work here at home, I'll take I have the 49G at home, but I'll go upstairs, run it off my Wi-Fi. Connection's great, makes me very mobile within the house if I don't feel like using my soft phone. The 47G is just, the next model up from the 45. It basically brings a few more buttons and then a high-res color display. These phones can be purchased in the cloud or you can rent them. It's really your option. If you rent our phones, we have technology protection in the cloud. It does require a 3-year contract, but at the end of that contract, let's say if you had 45Gs and you wanted to refresh, that's easily done because you don't own those phones, right? You can easily migrate and turn those up or downgrade those phones, which sometimes happens as well. The 49G is our flagship. It's a touchscreen Android-based device with an optional video camera. So you can actually do video calls from a 49G to another 49G across your network. For those of you that may have a buzz door, that's integrated into your phone system today, the 49 can bring video to that. So you're able to put a device out on your door. Somebody buzzes in, you're not only going to get the ring that someone's at the door, but you'll also get the security of getting a video path passed through to that 49G for that one level. That can be done if you're in the office. That can be done if you're, at home, letting in a FedEx, delivery person or Amazon or whoever you're using. So it just adds that additional level of security. One of the final things I want to talk about is our support. So again, as I mentioned, we are US based. We have East, Central, Mountain, and West Coast support. You would call directly into them. We have an average of 16 or 17 second hold time. They usually answer when the call is ringing. We pride ourselves on our support, and I'd be lying on this call if I said we had 500 people in our call center. It's really because the product works once it's in. We pride ourselves on our implementation team. A lot of the folks that are the product managers for you when we implement are also dedicated to you for that tech support. So, you build a relationship there, and, we get a lot of great feedback from our support. We also provide 24/7 support in the event of, any failures. Again, we haven't had a failure in a full system failure in 8 years, but we, if you have a system down or things like that, we certainly provide that access as well. Just a quick shot of some of our customers, right? Some of these are multi-site, some of these are, single locations, but, we've again been around for 20 years, 21 years, and we have a long list of customers. We'd be happy to provide references if and when we get to that point. So kind of let's take a look at our system, right? I'm going to bring up our mobile application first, and then we will show the Zultys Advanced Communicator. Just let me get my screenshot going. Terry, any questions at this point?
No, not at this point, but if you do have questions, if anybody does, please enter them in the chat and we'll try to answer any questions you have.
Alrighty, there we go. So you should be seeing, one thing I want to mention too before I go ahead is everything you see here today is designed, developed, engineered, and supported by Zultys. We are not a company that really believes in third-party at the technology level relationships. I've worked for several of those organizations, and as a salesperson, when you get involved with product development and you have somebody developing your mobile app and another company developing your desktop app, there's not a lot of synergy there. What you're seeing here is on the right side or center is our mobile application, and I'll go through that. What you're seeing here on the left side is our desktop application, and you can see how they really synergize. There's a lot of parity. So for someone like myself that happens to travel a lot and I need to go from my desktop to my mobile device, it's a very easy transition for me to do so. The commands are the same. The function is very much the same. I run an Android-based device. Are you seeing that all okay? Do I need to expand that at all? It should be good for you guys, I would imagine. I run an Android S20. The iPhone app essentially does the same. The skin is a little different at this point, but obviously all the functions are the same. So we'll kind of take you through a high level here. What you're seeing here is obviously we support the pictures, my name, and then there's a little note here that I'm doing a lunch and learn until 12 p.m. Eastern with NBM. You can also see an icon here that is called my presence, right? So if I click on here, it basically gives me a drop down of, what state am I in? This is very important for your inter-office communication. So if you're not in the same building, if you're working at home, if you have multiple sites, you can easily at a quick glance see what your folks are doing. Very important for your operators and receptionists as well. Instead of them seeing a button on your phone, if somebody's on or off the phone, there's more data here, more granular data. So, I'm in a meeting right now. Of course, if I'm on the phone, it's going to show that I'm on the phone. And then I could put in this kind of little Twitter note that just gets a little more granular. Some common things we see, if I go back here, Bill Valajos is busy this week. He's one of our engineers. He's in San Diego. He's doing an onboarding class. I know he's going to be busy all day. David Loft is on the phone. I would never now call Dave. I may send him a chat, or such, or I just may wait till he's off their phone. There's a way I can actually, notify myself when Dave hangs up, and I'll show you that when I get into the desktop application. So some common things you'll see is you're out of the office, they're out sick, they're at the doctor's till 3 p.m., they're on vacation and things like that. So this here, my buddies list, is a short list of about 30 people or so, that I communicate within our organization. I certainly don't need to communicate daily or weekly with the 100+ folks we have in engineering and tech support. So it's kind of a short list. Our mobile app works off the data channel on your phone. It also masks the phone number from your corporate organization. So if you're utilizing cell phones in your business today and you're forwarding phones out to your sales folks or service people in the field, you're honestly doing your business a disservice. Why? Because if you need to send a call there and they don't answer their Verizon phone and it gets answered by their Verizon voicemail, there's A, no way for your organization to track that call. B, there's no way for you to escalate that call back to corporate. If I get a call here at extension 731 and it rings my mobile device, it's going to be answered by my corporate voicemail. I'll be able to manage that like I do just from my telephone, right? Although it's my mobile phone. And then I could forward it back to Terry or my VP, and we can actually have a string of that call. When I make an outbound call from my mobile device, it's going to mask my caller ID that you choose. It might be my own direct dial number, personal DID, or it could be the main listed number of your organization. Or if I'm in a call group calling from customer service, it may want to mask that outbound number. So again, we're very flexible with that. I can go down here and look for Terry, and Terry's in a meeting because he's on this call. I would not normally bother Terry, because he's in a meeting, but I can hover over him just with my finger, and it gives me some, options. So I could call his extension. He would just get a call from Len at extension 731. He doesn't know I'm on my mobile phone. I could be on my desktop phone. I could be on my web client. He just knows it's me. But within my database, I could call his mobile phone from my business extension. I can call his home phone. I can chat with Terry, and you'll see here, Terry sent me a message earlier that I haven't downloaded. You'll see that, we have a log of our communication. You see that we've done some collaboration with each other and shared some screens. I can come in here and, just say hello. I can collaborate and attach files. We can see when he sees this message and he types back. So, what you're seeing here is my notification, and on the bottom right of my screen that just disappeared, that's a notification because I happen to have my desktop application as well resident in the background. So where I used to have to call people, we chat a lot internally in this encrypted chat, a lot more than we would ever call anyone. Because it's quick, it's responsive, and it even replaces email at times. A couple other windows here that you'll see is down here on the bottom right is our ability to send an SMS message from either my mobile device, or we can also do that on the desktop. So I can go into my contacts, I could pop in a cell number here. It would actually send an SMS message to the outside from my personal DID or my corporate number. So again, it's not coming from my Verizon number, it's coming from corporate. So we find that, again, many businesses are trying to communicate with their customers or your customers in different ways, more than just a voice call. SMS is right up there at the top today, especially in, the auto business. Real estate is adopting it. Anytime you have people on the road, and dispatcher service as well. HVAC, we see it a lot in that as well when you're trying to communicate with your folks, or outside and inside. The recent call tab here just kind of shows activity, right? That I can drill down. I won't really go deep into this, but I can show, what calls have I missed over the last several days? Is it an outside or an inside call? I can then hover over that and it'll give me some options to call back, delete. And again, just makes it easy for me to respond to those. There is a dial pad, of course, if I want to make an outbound call. And then I also have my contacts that allow me to utilize either the address book on my phone system or Outlook. We can import from there. Or I also have access to my local contacts, which are all my Verizon phone contacts, the thousands that we all have in our phones over the years. So, I can still take a personal contact here and call Chris Markland and, as a business phone call. We talked briefly about group and collaboration. So, we're able to have chat groups within the MX. I can set up personal external groups. So this happens to be a group of one of my customers. They're in Newburgh, New York. Keith knows when I'm in the office. He used to call me 2 or 3 times a day. We used to email back and forth a lot. Now we just chat. I send him a link. It's a URL. He has access into this group and I'm able to communicate with him. Oh, sorry, I moved my phone there. Like we did, and it's just quick. It's more productive. It's quick, and I have access and I have logs to all of that. For those of you on a call that park calls within your business, it's kind of putting your call in a group hold. Our park zone would show any calls that are currently parked in the system. It would show the caller ID, how long they've been in there, and then I can go in there and access that call. You certainly can pick up park calls from your desktop app and even your phone on the desk as well. We still support all that. A couple more and I'll move to the desktop app. So voicemail we have as well. And you can see here, as I mentioned, we have a fully functional mobile application. And again, many folks use this all day long as opposed to a desktop phone. But I have a couple of voicemails here. We have call recordings that we have within the system that I can manage. If I come up here, that's my voicemail settings. So every one of our users have up to 4 greetings that they can program and record. Those can be managed from the phone. Those can be managed from the mobile app. Those can be managed from the desktop app. Going back to my presence before, you noticed I was in a meeting. Well, I have an in a meeting greeting that I've recorded. So we can easily set a call rule that says, hey, when my presence is in a meeting, you'll see during this presentation, I'm not going to get any screen pops. My phone is not going to ring because I'm in a meeting status, and I program a rule that says, hey, I don't want to be interrupted. I don't want to inconvenience this webinar. I don't want people to get distracted. I don't want to be distracted, and just have a call come in and ring my greeting. It says, hey, it's Len. I'm currently in a meeting. I'll give you a call back later today. Again, the productivity of the system saves all time. And in that example, that customer experience that you're providing as well. And then finally, fax. So we won't go deep into fax. Many people are still using fax. In the Zultys platform, we're able to fax from the desktop or even the mobile app in and out, either direct to your extension or outbound from your extension. Before I move on to the desktop app, any questions on mobility?
Doesn't look like we have any questions right now, Lynn.
All right. So I'm going to follow this up. We'll spend about 10 minutes on the Zultys Advanced Communicator, or as we call it, ZAC. It's basically the mobile app, as I say, kind of on steroids. You can deploy this to any PC or Mac. And again, it follows the same logic as the mobile application. There's 2 modes. We have what we call a compact mode for those of us that don't want to see a lot of the data per se. And then we have more of a dashboard mode where you're able to pin up certain tabs if you communicate with certain groups or employees within your business, on a daily or weekly basis. It just makes it easier to navigate. So similar to the mobile app, you have your presence, which I can choose, or if I'm on the phone, it'll show them on the phone. And then I have the Twitter note, right? And that'll be updated either mobile or or via presence. You'll see the recent calls, same thing as we had in the mobile, where I can drill down into messages, calls, or, you know, everything. I can go back to a missed call that I had, just looking for one. Here's a missed call I had from Contrast or one of my partners out in Pennsylvania. And I can either go to the voicemail that they left, I can right click to call them back. Again, easy for me to communicate with them. We also do support SMS from the desktop. That's going to be up here. So I can send an SMS like I could from my mobile application from the desktop. So I can just pipe in a number, you know, and have a text or SMS communication back and forth. That's all reportable within the analytics of the system. And again, will come from my business extension or business line. There's many ways to make a call within Zultys. Before I do so, I want to kind of focus your attention down to the bottom left of the screen where you see this little label. It says 49G. So basically what that means is this desktop application is controlling this phone on my desk here in my home office. If I would prefer to use my soft phone and my desktop, I can just bind to the soft phone. And now if I made a phone call, it's not going to use the phone on my desk. It's going to use my computer. Right? It's going to use my computer. It's going to, I can use a Bluetooth or I can use a USB headset. For those of you that have multiple offices, you can go and log in, or maybe you work in a different cubicle or a different floor, or you want to go to the conference room. You can then just boot up your computer or laptop. You can bind by a call from a device. It's going to tell you to go over to whatever device on your network. You can be in California, you can be in Chicago, you can be upstairs, you can be at home. You dial this 6-digit code, which I will do here on my 49G, 0260001, and it's magic. And now I'm controlling that device. So that work anywhere, work everywhere, you know, again, that's kind of how we do that. That's what we call binding. And then one final place you can bind is all legacy, an external phone number. So you'll see here, there's a 9-digit, 10-digit phone number right here. That's my father's. He's elderly, he's 86. I kind of care for him. When I come home on Thursdays, usually I'm coming back into town, I'll stop at his place. He's in a part of North Jersey here where he has really poor internet and cell coverage, to be honest. So I bind up to my laptop, I fire up my FiOS Wi-Fi spot, MiFi spot, and I bind to his 10-digit Panasonic cordless phone that he has in his kitchen. You know, when I get a phone call to from corporate or to my corporate number, his kitchen phone rings, and at 86, he still thinks I'm a magician, you know, which is pretty awesome. So for those of you that may have a camp house or a vacation house or a lake house, and you still have old, you know, central office lines in there, and you have poor cell phone service. And I understand we all try to go to these places to get away from technology, but if you want to go there and still work, you can still work. I saw a chat come in. Can you move a call from the desktop or hard phone to the mobile phone without disconnecting? You sure can. It's a 3-digit code, star and your extension number, and it'll move it from either the desktop application to the mobile application or from the mobile application to the desktop application. Thanks for the question, Mike. I'm going to show you a quick phone call. I'm going to call my cell phone here in my buddies list. So your buddies list here on the desktop is a little different. You can actually departmentalize them. So, you know, if I go back to Terry where I saw him before and he's in a meeting, here's the chat that we actually had from our cell phone, right, and our mobile app. So you can also have, again, departmentalize things. I can set a presence alert with Terry. So, you know, why don't you go back into a meeting, Terry? All right, so he's in a meeting. I don't want to interrupt Terry. I want to know when he's out of his meeting. I use this a lot when somebody's on the phone because I don't want to interrupt them. I can just go in here and say, hey, Terry, tell me when Terry's available. And I set this. And if he's in a meeting for an hour or 10 minutes, when he goes back to available, I get a notification on my desktop and I can click and call him. So again, that's just in the day-to-day communication really aids in the experience and productivity within your organization. Let me go up here. I'm going to show you just an outbound call, how that kind of works. And I'm going to call my mobile phone here from my desktop. So I will answer the call. I'm going to go on mute so we don't get any feedback here. And here's kind of what a call looks like. As I get a call coming in, that was timely. So again, this is one of my partners calling in, but my phone isn't ringing because I'm in this meeting and they're going right to my voicemail, and they'll leave a voicemail, which is great because I'll show you our voicemail transcription. And I swear that wasn't planned. But here's my active call. So active call is always in a dark window, right? You know, typically my desktop is going to look something like this because I communicate mostly with the sales team, right? So I'm on this call, I'm on for 35 seconds. I have the caller ID. We do have the ability to record phone calls in the Zultys world. We do it very uniquely. So I'm on this call for 43 seconds. If I hit record now, I'm going to grab the whole call. So if I'm on a phone call for 55 minutes and I want to record the call, I just have to click before terminating that call, and it's going to grab that entire phone call. We have the ability to do automatic call record if you want to record a certain extension, a certain group all the time. But the way our ad hoc call record works, you know, you're never going to miss anything, whether it's for training purposes or you have a bad customer experience, you can always capture that call. So I'll record this now at minute 120, and you'll see when I'm done, we'll have like a 2-minute conversation that was recorded. So how do I transfer these calls? So there's a few ways. The easy way that I use is you drag and drop. So, you know, if Terry was available, I would, and he's not, but if he was, I could take this and just send it and drag and drop and send it off, and that's going to transfer. That's one way I could do it. I could transfer it from this window. I could, you know, he's available now. I could announce this call to Terry, and if I did that, it would put this call on hold. That would turn gray. Terry's call would come up below this as black. I would announce the call to Terry and then join the call. Super easy to do. As an operator, if I don't have all 200 people in your company, I can transfer it this way by the transfer, and then that'll pull up, you know, a list, and I could go look for Terry here as an example. You know, I'd rather use Steve. There's a lot of Steves in the company, right? Or STEV, right? So I can see if folks are available here. But if I go back to the Terry example, you know, here, if I see he's on the phone, I could send it to his voicemail, or I could transfer the call. So again, really easy to navigate single or multiple calls within the ZAC skin. Here's where I could add more calls, create a conference call if I so choose. So all that's available here within the skin. And I will terminate the call. It's going to go through its thing. You will see a notification here above Terry that I have a new voicemail. It should come up right about now. There it is. And it's a new recording. So if I go to a new recording, that brings me to my voicemail tab here. And you'll see, here's my recording. It's 3 minutes and 3 seconds, right? So I only started recording, I think, at about 1:45 seconds. Within the platform, we also have, in addition to SMS, we have voicemail transcription. So that's a free service we have. We support Google, we support IBM, and we support the other one, Microsoft. Thank you. So you'll see here, I have a short message here from one of my VARs. It's Carol Kirshner at Contrast giving me a shout back. Of course, I can still play this. I don't really listen to voicemails much anymore. We can deliver voicemails to your inbox as a WAV file, and that works very well. And it's really easy to call folks back. I could forward this to somebody within my organization with a preamble or a message. And I can also download this as a WAV file if you're not going to send those into your email chain or your email server. We're going to run a little short on time, and I want to open up for questions. So I do want to just discuss groups real quick. Again, the ability to invite folks from the outside to a group, have internal collaboration groups that I can manage that might be private or public groups. You know, Terry does a great job with this through, I think that's gonna be a sales group we have. I'm not sure. We have so many that we do use. Yep, but here's a sales team group. I mean, this morning he sent us a nice link, you know, just a value add for our partners, and then we can all communicate. You can see who's in this group. You know, also from here, again, with this group, I can start a conference call that'll notify everybody in this group that we want to be on a call. I can share my screen with them with the click of a button. Once I'm in that call, that's where we can invoke video and have multi-party video, again, within this one application. Very powerful. And again, we'd be happy to detail that more in any follow-up calls that we have. Faxing from the desktop is simple. If you're doing faxing, we can fax from within ZAC with a nice cover page, or you can fax right from any of your applications, whether that be Word, Excel, PowerPoint, etc. Conferencing, real quick, you know, we have the ability to schedule conferencing, internal or external participants, when the date and time is. It could be an audio call, it could be a video call, it could be a collaboration call. That'll put it right into your calendar. If I just do one real quick here for tomorrow, the 3rd, we'll do a test as a name, we'll save an invite. And then once I do that, anybody internally will already have this in their calendar, and then it creates a really nice Outlook. There you go. Outlook calendar invite, right? With, you know, all the internal and external, you know, web and audio bridge information that you need. One step further, you can actually have this embedded into your calendar for that time to say, hey, I'll be in a meeting between 12:30 and 1 on the 3rd. So again, I don't want to get too deep, but it gets super granular. And then finally, we have speed dial. Speed dial is great for your system-wide speed dials. And then anybody on the call that has call groups, you can log in to multiple here. And that might be for, you know, dispatch, customer service, sales. And again, we would talk offline about that. But a nice thing about call group here, and I'll finish with this, is when you're part of a call group, you have visibility to everybody else in your group, and you have visibility to what's going on currently in your queue. So if you're answering calls in queue today here, and again, this is a demo queue, you would start having calls stacked up here. You could see who's in the queue, how long they've been in there, etc. So it is 10 of, I think, let me just defer to Terry. Anything else I missed, buddy?
No, I think you're good. And definitely if people have questions, you know, let us know, chat something.
Yeah, the other thing, Len, I would just note, so I mean, that video conferencing can replace a Zoom or any sort of service like that, right?
Yeah, again, that's the point of the single pane of glass.
Right.
So we have certainly report, you know, whether it's Zoom, you know, certainly Teams, WebEx, you know, things like that. So if you have a hard dollar expense there, again, that's all embedded in a premium license. So, you know, if you have a premium license for every, let's say you have an office of 25 people and 15 of those are premium users with the desktop and the remaining were standard users, you would get a 15-party conference and web bridge built in, right? With the ability of screen share, with the ability of webinar, with the ability of share. You know, if Amy came into the call, she could share her screen or I could share my screen. Very similar to what we're doing here today, right? So yes.
Yep.
Good point. Thank you. I'll make this point too. If there are any folks that are on Teams using them as collaboration, we do have integration into Teams today for the voice part. For the PSTN, meaning the phone lines, you can still decide to adapt and adopt our Zultys communicator or mobile app. Honestly, what I find with Teams users today is they still, you know, because Teams does collaboration very well, you know, and because of COVID, a lot of folks are using Teams. They don't do voice very well. So what we find is we can integrate with some of the Teams clients, and they utilize our lines. They'll utilize our auto attendant, our voicemail, our reporting, our call center, and things to that nature.
Good. Any other questions that anyone has? We can.
Well, then I guess I did a granular job of explaining everything. Yeah, I guess not. And we, I got a fair amount on the call, so that's good. I guess we'll leave it open.
That was really, really helpful, Len. I think sometimes, we, at least I find when I talk to customers, we hear unified communications, and sometimes customers don't know what that really means. And so that was helpful to outline that for us. So I appreciate it. And
remember, I'll leave you with this. Certainly we can speak more offline or one by one. Just get in touch with Amy. It's a relatively easy process. If you have a existing service in the cloud today that you're not happy with, service or otherwise, clarity, latency, things like that, that would be a reason to engage. If you have an old legacy product with central office lines, the feds are going to be taking those away. In the next year or two. They said this summer. I think they're going to probably push that out a little bit. So you need to start looking at a plan. More often than not, you'll be able to save some money by moving to the cloud for many reasons. And certainly if you're an organization that's spending money on T1, PRI circuits, there's definitely a savings to be had there with more capability. So, and the redundancy and the failover and the work at home. So I'll leave you with that. We're just about on time. That's awesome. I usually always run over, but we will make sure that we send out a little email virtual gift card to all you. We do appreciate your time, and feel free to connect with Amy moving forward. And thanks so much. We know your time is valuable, and enjoy the rest of the week and the weekend. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, please touch base with me if you need anything. And thanks for joining us today. Have a great one. Thank you. All right, have a good one. Yep.
Thanks, everyone.